Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My primary questions are going to be targeted at Mr. Weber, Mr. Helena, and Madam Paquette. I believe that in terms of gun control, when we're talking about creating more paperwork, it's really only going to create a marginal, small change in impacting crime. And when we're talking about increasing personnel, which has been a large recommendation we've seen today, we know how expensive that can be. We know we have an aging population. It's going to be incredibly hard to train and source and retain new people. So I think we really need to start looking at, with those solutions, with alternative solutions. And I really haven't heard about any alternative solutions except for nebulous technology things. So I'm going to focus in on technology. Mr. Weber, you were talking about how it's virtually impossible to monitor the rail lines. I'm aware of a company in Canada, Patriot One Technologies. It's using artificial intelligence and radar scanning. It has clients across the United States, including the United States government, major casinos, schools, as a way to identify through artificial intelligence and radar when there's concealed weapons being involved. Is there any effort or funding or planning being put forward by border services to utilize these technologies as a force multiplier for personnel?
Thank you for the question. That I'm aware of, no.
Okay. It's disappointing, not blaming you, but it is disappointing that, it seems like you were talking about, having telephone, and you were talking about how almost useless it is to have telephone at ports of entry for people to make reports. Like, this is an analog solution when we're living in a digital world. And, I think we need to be looking at digital solutions like artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. And when talking about blockchain technology, I'll be kind of transferring over to Madam Paquette. As a gun owner myself, registered and non-registered, we have all this paperwork, and, we're content to do the paperwork, but gun owners are only seeing very marginal, we're not really seeing how this is preventing criminals who we know don't do the paperwork. I was reading a recent paper by Thomas Heston from the Washington State University back in 2017, talking about the possibility of using blockchain technology as a way to create private ledgers to track the sale and ownership of firearms. I see this as a possible way we could create a cost-effective gun control solution while making it less onerous for legal firearms owners. Is the Canadian Firearms Program researching blockchain or how to use blockchain for any purposes?
I would have to validate with the technical teams, but I will take that back to make sure that we are looking at that.
Okay. No offense. I'm just a little bit disappointed that, people talk about technology, but it doesn't appear like, the latest technology that we're seeing come up in front of us on a day-to-day basis doesn't appear to be being integrated. And I want to see more vision from this government in terms of, ways that we can make this more effective while making this less onerous on gun owners. Mr. Helena, you're with the tracing and laboratory services. I know you guys have a ballistics lab, but are you guys contemplating using any blockchain technology or artificial intelligence to track firearms?
Just for clarity, we do the forensic analysis of firearms on behalf of law enforcement agencies across Canada, with the exception of Ontario and Quebec, who have their own provincial labs. We're not involved in the tracing of firearms. The one aspect we are is the serial number restoration, and where we use a lot of different technologies to advance restoring obliterated serial numbers, and then we pass on that information to the Canadian Firearms Program for the tracing purposes.
Thank you. Madam Paquette, going back to you, has there been instances where the Canadian Firearms Program has been hacked and firearms owners' private information has been leaked?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, is that a concern that you guys have, or are you guys taking proactive measures to prevent that from happening?
Yes, we are always looking at that to make sure that is top of our mind, is to protect the information of the license holders. I will say, I just want to add on technology, with the recent investments, we are going to be redeveloping our national systems, looking at the utilization of the current technologies.
Mr. Lloyd, you've got about 8 seconds.
Well, I'll let it go there. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much.